What's up? Dantoshi here, back with another video. And today we're gonna be reacting to a video called "Your Daddy's Gay." Nah. The video is called "The Dumbest Criminals in the History of Mankind." You gotta be real fucking dumb if you're one of the dumbest criminals in the history of mankind. Like, come on, man, come on. Anyways, it's made by Sunny V2. If you don't know who he is, I'm gonna leave his channel in the description. Go make sure to go watch that. But yeah, let's get right into the video.
In 2009, Matthew McNally and Joey Miller robbed a home in Iowa using masks drawn onto their faces with permanent black marker. Whilst on the run, the two discovered that permanent black marker doesn't rub off easily, leading to their simple arrest and embarrassingly stupid mugshots. However, these two still look like geniuses in comparison to some of the other idiots we'll be talking about as we discuss the stupid.
Yeah, I've seen these, the first one. This pair that this guy just described, I've seen them.
But as criminals,
that was so fucking dumb. So dumb.
Of all time. Take for example MacArthur Wheeler, who robbed two banks in broad daylight as he thought that pouring lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to cameras. Showing the bank surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible.
My guy, you're old enough to have fucking gray hairs. To have almost half of your hair fucking gray.
To cameras. When showing the back,
you're that fucking old, and you think juices from a fruit is gonna make you invisible.
bank surveillance.
Fucking dumbass, bro. Like, what?
Surveillance footage, Wheeler refused to believe that he was visible, stating to officers, "But I wore the juice," believing that as long as he didn't come near a heat source, he should have been completely invisible. Police concluded the Wheeler was not crazy or on drugs, just incredibly mistaken, with the lemon juice mistake eventually costing Wheeler a 24.5-year prison sentence.
Where did you get your research from? What? You must have done something to come up with, like, if you sat there and told the investigators, "Oh, I'm invisible. I was invisible as long as I was not near a heat source." You must have, like, did your research or did something, look up something somewhere. Like, what? I want to know, where did you go to fucking read that? Or, like, what? I am so perplexed. Crazy.
However, if we're on the topic of terrible disguises, then we can't go past Dennis Hawkins, whose disguise as an old lady wasn't much better. His sweater accompanied fake boobs, a full beard, and fittingly clown pants, with his insanely recognizable outfit, helping police to catch Hawkins only an hour after the robbery. The police chief for the area stated, "He would get my nomination for dumbest criminal, I think. You still have his black facial hair with a blondish wig. Definitely different." Different is also a good way to describe Patrick McGuire's disguise.
Fucking dumbass, bro.
Who robbed an Illinois convenience store while covering his face with a clear plastic bag.
I want to know the thought process of all of these dumbasses when they were going ahead with it. Did that first guy really think, "I'm going to be invisible"? That second guy really think he wasn't going to get caught? My boy, you got your beard and your mustache still there with a blonde wig. Are you stupid or are you stupid? And this guy coming in with a clear mask? It's like trying to hide drugs in your book bag while going to school, and then going to school with a clear book bag. Everybody's gonna see that, and you're gonna get your ass caught. Dumbass. Like, that makes no sense. Hey, don't do that. Don't be sneaking no drugs into school, bro. What y'all doing?
Only able to obtain $60 from the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in prison for every $4 stolen from the store. Talk about had to spend criminal history. bag. He was only able to obtain $60 from the robbery. However, due to his extensive criminal history, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for the stunt, meaning that he had to spend 1 year in prison for every $4 stolen from the store. Talk about a bad return. Equally bad was Paul Sinclair's, who attempted to rob a bank in Florida by using his fingers curled up into a gun shape. The quote-unquote weapon was so non-threatening that the bank teller gave him only $120, after which he'd flee on foot before being caught by police only 10 minutes later. Then there was James Blankenship, who thought
that guy must have been on drugs. He must have been on drugs. Like, there's no fucking way that a straight, sane person goes up to a cash register and is like, give me everything. Give me everything you got, man. I don't care. I'm gonna shoot you, bro. Give me everything you got. I'm gonna kill you if you don't give me it. Like,
that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain time of day. Back in 2013, Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called, who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing his mother. The mail was located under the house. As long as you did it at a certain time of day. Blankenship, who thought that robbery was legal as long as you did it at a certain
oh, God. I didn't get much sleep. I'm sorry, but what? I want to know where's your what? Your mother raised you? Your mother really raised you? Wait, what? Are you sure you weren't raised like by a bum on the streets?
time of
To think that robbery, that any crime at all, any crime that's you can go to jail for is legal at any time of the fucking day.
Back in 2013, Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called.
Not any time, but like a specific time of the day, like one part of the day. Like what?
Who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain did it at a certain time of day. Back in 2013, Blankenship broke into his own mother's home, after which the police were called, who would take to their Facebook page later that day to explain what had happened. He fled the scene upon seeing his mother. The male was located under the house hiding in a crawl space. When advised of his charges, he made the statement, "I thought you could only be charged with burglary if you break in during the night time." Blankenship was given 180 days in jail and ordered to pay a $100 fine, yet this wasn't the only time when a person was dumb enough to think that a law didn't apply to them. Because when Reuben Pavin was caught stealing from a charity thrift shop in New Hampshire, he'd state that he thought everything was free because of the name of the business, Finders Keepers. The sign did say Finders Keepers, so I took that DVD player, took it home, Pavin told the local TV station. A couple of weeks later, the stuff is still there on the porch, so I'm thinking to myself, Finders Keepers, they probably just put stuff out there for people to take. The business responded via Facebook stating, "This man who was caught on video..."
Bruh. Now this man
is saying it is all a misunderstanding. He thought everything at our store was free. Is that really the best defense he could come up with? After which Pavin reportedly turned in the stolen goods to police, holding that he's not a bad person or a bad dad, and is rather just unbelievably stupid. But was he as dumb as Derek Mosley, who in 2013 attempted to rob a store named Discount Gun Sales by using a baseball bat? When
that's the equivalent of a guy straight from Britain wielding a knife, trying to walk into a redneck's fucking house out here in America. They're gonna get shot the hell up. But gun clerks or like gun store clerks, most of them, if not all of them, are armed. Like, are you stupid? You might as well walk into a police station swinging a knife at them, trying to kill them. They would have shot you. That's the same fucking. Like, you weren't looking to fucking rob the place. You were looking to get killed. That's what the fuck you were looking for, dumbass.
Mosley allegedly barged into Discount Gun Sales and smashed the display counter with his baseball bat, the store manager simply pulled out his own personal firearm and pointed it straight at the would-be robber, holding Mosley in the store until he was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery. Similar story then came out of Texas in July 2022 when a gun store was robbed at knife point, although this tale instead ended in a body bag as the robber was fatally shot by the store owner as he tried to exit with his loot. But what happens when you accidentally call 911 while just committing a crime. Pocket dialing the police is probably a fairly common occurrence. However, for Carson Reinhardt and Nathan Teklemariam, it happened at the most unfortunate
These two guys look dumb anyways.
moment, specifically while they were breaking into a car. The alert dispatcher soon realized that the call was an accidental one, and moreover that the guys on the other end might be up to no good. For the next 35 minutes, the dispatcher stayed on the line, listening and gathering information, as Teklemariam and Reinhardt did the following. Discovered a car that they thought they could burglarize, discussed how to break into the car, allegedly broke into the car, exclaimed in delight over finding narcotics in the car, became confused as to how and why a police car was following them, and reacted in disbelief when the arresting officer revealed that they'd been on the line to 911 the entire time. Scott Simon found himself in a similar situation.
I have a question. The whole entire time you grabbed the car, you did not think of taking your phone out? None of y'all?
Although under much more severe circumstances. Whilst on trial for murder in 2015, Scott was successfully sentenced to life in prison, as 2 years prior he'd pocket dialed the police while admitting to a friend that he was the one who committed the crime. He had no idea he called 911, a sheriff's office spokeswoman told the Miami Herald. He basically told on himself, as did Albert Bailey, although in a much stupider way. Bailey had planned on robbing a bank in Fairfield, Connecticut, although rather than exercising the element of surprise, he'd call the
Yeah, it's close to my hometown, New York.
bank prior to the robbery, stating, "I want $100,000 in large bills and no diaper
My home city, New York.
packs. I'll be sending someone into the bank to get the money. Don't call the police, we are monitoring the police scanner." Prior to making this phone call, Bailey had already served 7 years in prison for a previous bank robbery. However, this new plan was equally ineffective, as after arriving at the bank to collect his cash, Bailey was locked inside, arrested, and sentenced to another 9 years in prison. Although, if he wanted to avoid this time behind bars, he could have had a chat with Tito and Amanda Watts, who got arrested in Florida for selling tickets to enter heaven at a price of $100. Tito Watts said in Florida for selling tickets to enter
What?
heaven at a price of $100. Tito Watts said in his police statement, "I don't care what the police say, the tickets are solid gold, and it was Jesus who gave them to me behind the KFC and said to sell them so I could get me some money to go to outer space. You should arrest Jesus because he's the one who gave me the golden tickets and said to sell them. I'm willing to wear a wire and set Jesus up."
Alright. First of all, they look like they were on drugs. But yeah, he did that because he was on drugs. Trust me, I've been around. Oh my God, I've seen too many drug addicts. I've seen too many druggies. I've seen how people act. Bro, you do that because you're high as hell off drugs, bro. Because you did some drugs and then you start thinking, oh yeah, Jesus is talking to you. Oh, you need to do this. We can go to fucking space and talk to aliens. What? Shut your ass up, bro.
The couple had apparently earned over $10,000 from the stunt, meaning that they were able to find people even dumber than them, one of which might have been Ruben Zarate. While attempting to rob a muffler shop in 2008, Zarate was told that the shop couldn't access the money safe without their manager, who didn't begin his shift until later that afternoon. Instead of bailing on the robbery, Zarate instead gave them his phone number, asking them to give him a ring the next time the manager was in. They did so later that afternoon, although after returning to the store, Zarate received no money and was instead met by police and charged with aggravated robbery.
The dumbassery!
Then there was the man who gave the people he was robbing something even stupider. The unnamed robber walked into a London bank carrying a gun and a bag, which he'd take to the front desk before demanding £700,000 in cash from the bank worker. But after making his demands, the crook handed over his gun to the cashier instead of the bag. Investigating authorities stated, the guess is that he is very inexperienced and panicked when he approached the cashier, handing over his gun instead of a bag by mistake. But it was Trevor Jones who left an even more damning piece of evidence at his crime scene. After breaking into a house in Atlanta, Jones took a moment to check his Facebook on the owner's computer before leaving without logging out. At least they didn't brag about the robbery in a YouTube video, as is what happened in the bizarre case of Hannah Sabata. In 2012, at the age of 19, Sabata stole $6,000 from a bank in Nebraska, and while almost anybody else would have simply kept quiet, Hannah instead took to her YouTube channel Jelly Beanie to upload a video titled Chick Bank Robber, in which she'd straight up admit to having just committed a robbery. She'd then discuss her entire methodology for the crime. up the crime while showing the money and the amount that had been stolen, before concluding the video by describing the vehicle she had used and that it had its license plates removed. This information eventually resulted in Hannah Sabata's arrest.
Yeah, she looks crazy.
And sentencing of 10 to 20 years prison, done so in a public courtroom filled to maximum capacity with people who had seen the video. Just 2 years prior to this, 21-year-old Frank Singleton was being released from Palm Beach County Jail, having just served time for a
Where's Palm Beach shenanigans?
trespassing charge. The only issue was he didn't have a car to leave the jail, so he decided to steal one from the visitors' parking lot, yet the car he decided to steal was a manual and he could only drive auto. Singleton sat in the car looking like an idiot before being arrested and sentenced to a further 6 years, telling deputies that he tried to take the car because he didn't feel like walking to his home about 6 miles away.
My boy, you look like you close to 300 pounds, my boy. If your fat ass if your fat ass don't start walking, well, it's too late. You in jail now. Like, I can't believe the stupidity, the dumbassery of a lot of these dumbasses. We live on this planet with these dumbasses, bro. Like, I don't. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go hit the like button, subscribe. Go in the comment section, say whatever. If you guys want to see more content, I suggest you guys click on this video right here. We found Josephus out there in Miami, bro, the Florida man. But yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Peace.